Okay, so last week I showed you the same phrase sung two really different ways with a sound quality called metal. Malgré moi. And the other without. Malgré moi. Now the reason I had the spectrogram was to show that the major difference here isn't resonance. These two spectrogram readings, which are just really rough, but they look quite similar. That's because the same vowels are happening and a lot is happening that's basically the same. What's really different is happening at the source. Spectrogram is not really helpful. But since we don't have an electroglottograph, we can just listen, because metal is quite obvious. What about area of interest number 1? Now usually we don't have this concept in vocal acoustics. When researchers are describing lengthening or shortening the vocal tract, they don't tend to include head movement as something that's relevant. The way to make these two different sounds that I made involves head movement. In order to make area of interest number 1 longer for the second example, it's necessary to protract the head a little bit, to lengthen the vocal tract, not by lowering the larynx since it's already low, but by moving the head so that area of interest number 1 is lengthened by moving area of interest number 2 to a different location. Why is this overlooked in voice research? Well, I think it's pretty obvious. If someone is looking down your throat with a camera, that's really going to discourage you from moving your head. But you're still going to be able to lengthen and shorten area of interest number 1. So those wind up being the ways that are studied. Earlier in this series, I mentioned that we alter the first resonant frequency of the vocal tract by changing areas of interest 1, 2, and 3. Next time, we're going to talk about why area of interest number 1 is fundamentally different from the others.